Everyone wants $1 million, but can you actually retire on $1 million? And if you can, what will your expenses look like to make sure that it lasts the rest of your lifetime? Let's check that out. Hey, it's Eric with Jazz Wealth Managers. Let's talk about getting $1 million and getting your dough straight, making sure that you can grow your dough, but also live on your dough. So here at Jazz, we don't just invest your dough, we educate on it. So today I want to take you into our software that we use called Nest Egg. It's our planning software, and really look at, if you had $1 million, are you able to retire on that? And this is going to be broken down by age. Now, there are a lot of variables that will come into play. So this is just a general overview. But to give you an idea of what this looks like, if we start at 25 years old, if you inherited $1 million, or maybe you made a ton of money early on, you got $1 million at 25 years old and you want to retire, you never want to have to work if you don't want to the rest of your life. That's fine, but you're probably not going to qualify for any Social Security because you have to work roughly 10 years to get the full Social Security. At 35 years old, you may or may not have Social Security. 45, 55, 65, you probably will have Social Security. But for the ease of this, I'm not even going to calculate Social Security in. What is included, though, is the fact that we have inflation. Inflation is going to take your expenses. Let's say you have $3,000 today, well, and that you need for expenses. Well, if you fast forward 20 years, it's going to be a lot more than $3,000. So we're calculating in 3% inflation in the plan. And then another thing that we're going to do, I'll go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you. So we're going to invest all of these accounts in an aggressive manner. When I say aggressive, it's not something where we're going crazy and just buying, only Tesla or putting it all on crypto. Not that kind of aggressive, but an 80-20 portfolio. So if you're looking right here, 80% stocks, 20% fixed income. Estimated annual return on an average basis is 8.2%. So that's what we're going to be looking at with this entire plan. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's go over it a bit. So if we're looking right here with Warren Buffett, Warren Buffett's 25 years old. He has $1 million. So with him, his goal is to retire at 25, and he wants $3,500 a month in expenses. I'm going to keep it at that $3,500 a month across the playing field to keep it as a level playing field. Now, when I say that, though, I'm going to be able to adjust this and show you how much more you can spend if you were to retire later on with that $1 million. So right here, we're going to jump over to retirement. And again, this is just very base numbers, but to give you an idea, Warren Buffett looks like there's a good possibility he could retire at 25 years old, invest his money aggressively, and have a 55% probability of success. Now, when I talk about success in this entire video, what I'm talking about right here is a Monte Carlo analysis. And what that does is it runs 1,000 scenarios. We're looking at an amazing stock market and the world's worst stock market. Now, it's finding a median line. Now, this line's super low. But you have to realize if you're retiring at 25 years old, you have a long time until 90 to live on this money. A lot can happen in the stock market during that time. The more that could happen, the longer it goes out, the more it's going to lessen the probability of success. So that just gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. But if you look at this 3,316,000, it's still projecting you to possibly leave that at the end for inheritance purposes. If we adjust that, just being at 25, to future dollars, though, just to show you how inflation works, that over 3 million would only be 682,000, almost 683,000 that you would leave for inheritance. All right, so enough with a 25-year-old. Let's go ahead and let's check out if Warren here turns 35. I'm going to adjust this real quick. So what year would that be? 1987. I may or may not have been born in 1987. And when it comes to everything, we're going to say he's going to retire now at 35 years old. All right, let's take a look at this, see what's going on if he retires at 35, and he's 35 years old right now. Probability of success goes up to 61%. He's got $3 million still right here projected to have at the end of the plan. Now, what's interesting is, let's say, his probability of success went up a little bit. we might be able to give them a little extra money a month. Let's just see what this looks like if we were to adjust it to 3750. Drops him down to 53%, only 910,000. It's going to be tight. So Warren better be careful if he's wanting to retire at 35 years old with $1 million. And again, this isn't taking into consideration any Social Security. So just know that there are a lot of variables that can come into play in this, but I want to give a good baseline because we have a lot of people who are wanting to retire earlier, or just the number in general seems to be $1 million. So let's take a look at what 45 years old would be. So if we're looking at 45 years old here, we're going to go back over here. And now what's interesting is if you look, what's happening is the money over here that is going to be remaining actually is going down. The reason for that is because it's a lot longer that you have to live, the more money, the possibility of, if I can talk here, the more possibility of the money to compound and grow. Now, in these scenarios, the older you are and the closer you are to retirement, your money may not have as long to compound, so there's less possibility of it growing extensively to possibly leave some for inheritance. So the probability of success is going up here. The actual value of the dollars remaining at the end of the plan are going down. So this looks pretty good at 45 years old, 67% probability of success. When it comes to planning something like this, what I would do is, let's just say they need $3,500 a month, which I know is super low, especially in this economy right now. But if we are only needing $3,500 a month to live on, you want to live really basic, minimalist style, the idea with this is 1 year you may be able to live a little bit more. If the market is really down, you may live a little less. That's where planning comes into play. That's how we're able to sit there, go over this on an annual basis with you as things pop up. We can take a look at that for you. So if we're talking here, if the 45-year-old, let's just say they want to spend $4,000 a month in expenses, let's see how much this does. It kind of tinks the plan a bit. I mean, you're running a bit of a risk potentially having $405,000 left. Some people say, hey, that's more than enough. I don't need to leave anything to anybody. But the problem is that there's all those variables. This is just taking a long-term estimate, dropping down to 53% probability of success. Makes it a little tight there. All right, so now let's check out a 55-year-old. Let's see if at 55 they'll be all right. So we're going to say they were born in 1967. And goals, change this here. Let me show you what I'm doing. So what I'm actually doing is I'm just changing this. So they're going to retire at 55. Retirement expense is currently at $3,500, but we've changed it down here. Let me adjust this back, $3,500 right there. So at $3,500, again, this isn't taking into consideration any Social Security, so this gives you a little bit of encouragement. If you only need $3,500 a month and you're 55 and you want to retire, it's a 77% probability of success, $2,318,000. Now, something that I just remembered to tell you also, though, what I want to show you real quick is if you were investing this money, again, this is all because it's a general idea of how you're going to invest. If you're 25, you wouldn't have $1 million in a 401k. But if you are 45, 55, 65, there's a good possibility that you could. So what I did here, though, is I just made this as a taxable account. So that's how this is put in here. What that means is that, your cost basis is zero. When you're taking money out, what is going to happen? I'm showing that right here. I'm talking about it, not showing it. What is going to happen with this is you're going to be taxed at either 15 or 20%, depending on your tax bracket. It actually could even tax you at 0%. That's all going to depend on how much money you have there that you're bringing in an income. But just giving you an idea of how that looks. So let me jump back over here. So if Warren here retires at 55 years old, and he's 55 right now, let's just adjust this to $4,000. Let's take a quick look. Still not too bad. Clearly it's evident, the more money you have later in life, the more possibility or probability of success during retirement. But just to give you one more look at this, I want to look at a 65-year-old. I know it's going to definitely, the probability is going to go up. I mean, that's a given. But what can we get them to make them still live a comfortable lifestyle? That's what I want to look at here. So if they're born in 1957, they're 65 years old. right here. We're going to adjust this to 65. We'll jump back over here to the retirement tab. Now, let's see, 82% probability of success. Check this out though. If you were to retire at 25 with $1 million, your probability of success was super low, but you would have had over $3 million potentially at the end of the plan. That was what was projected. Here, 82% probability of success at 65, but only just over $1 million, 1.37. So quite interesting to see those numbers there. Oh, and this is with $4,000 a month. I'm not even going to go down on this one. So I'm actually going to go up a little bit. And let's see here. $4,500 a month, 71% probability of success, 860. That's probably about the range that I want to go there. I wouldn't want to, draw this plan down too much, especially knowing that they are in the retirement years. We like to see that number definitely over that 70%. It's always a good number to see when it comes to the later retirement years when you are officially retired.
Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more FinTips videos, click here. Be sure to like and subscribe also.